So we kind of been talking about a couple different things. We've been talking about relationships. We've been talking about like really asking yourself what it is that you want. And I think what I want to talk about today is going through the motions of like learning how to truly put yourself first and putting up boundaries. So how do you feel about that?
Hmm. Man, wait, 2020. Yeah. 2020 made me understand a lot of shit. Like I used to always put everybody else before everything, everybody else before everything. And it was a situation where my baby basically ripped the child away from my life. And like
Oh damn.
that shit took me through through the gates and back again. So it's just like during that time I had to find myself. Like at that point in time I felt like I was a failure and it's just like I had to work on myself. So it was like after I got myself together, it was like, damn, am I fully ready to be in a relationship? You understand what I mean? Like I'm mentally and I'm emotionally okay. But at the same time, am I preparing myself to get with somebody that I semi kind of know? You understand? Even though we went to high school and we chatted, like she left her, I say junior year, yeah, her junior year, and I was a sophomore. She left after we still was communicating through like social media and shit, but it was just like when the shit came into person, it was a whole different say. So it was just like I had to adapt to her
Right.
because at the end of the day, I had myself. You understand? Everybody like me knowing the fact that I'm hopping into a relationship. I gotta understand that she was raised different, and a lot of shit I may do or agree with, she may disagree with or think about differently. So I had to mentally and emotionally prepare myself for her, my frame as well. Or if she came to me with problems and everything like that, I had to learn from them and not make those mistakes because you rather a person talk to you and tell you what's going on than them hold that shit in.
Mm. Right, right. So what I heard in that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like where you get out of a situation and you have to find yourself, and before you hop into a new situation where you gotta ask yourself, like, am I ready for this? Because you understand that you gotta make certain sacrifices, and you know what I'm saying, that in order to be in a relationship, it's a partnership and it's not just about you and your wants and your needs and your desires. That's what you're saying?
Facts.
Right, right. And I agree with that. Um, Definitely. Like the thing about going into relationships is it absolutely is a partnership. It takes two. You know what I'm saying? And that other person has feelings and desires and things that they want to do and ways that they got to operate, things that they've been through so much, right? It's so many different factors that go into making people who they are, right? And to operate the way that they do. And like, I think one thing that, because I'm single right now, and I'm a different type of single. I'm a different type of single for my life, right? Because in the past, when I would look at being single, I would look at single from the perspective of like, I'm lonely, right? Like, oh, I'm lonely. I want to be with somebody. Like, yeah, I want to be in a relationship. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to do. I used to look at that shit from the outside looking in, right? Because I used to think that if I wasn't in a relationship, then I need to seek one. That makes sense.
Damn, I was the opposite.
So what do you mean?
Like, so how can I say it? Back in high school, I wasn't worried about no hoes. I was worried about school.
Hmm.
Like that's 100%.
Definitely
I was
that. Yeah.
focused on school, and it was just like even after I got out of high school, like I started selling bud and shit like that, just for me to go to college. But it was like, man, it was the bitches that was buying the shit, and like everybody they'd come smoke. You know, I ain't smoke at that time, but when I like they'd come smoke, hot box the room, you know, get contacts and shit like that, be making beats and rapping and shit. Other than that, like I ain't had no girlfriend until like after college, after I had my degree and everything, and I was ready to settle down. Like I wanted to make sure that I was in the right mindset of what I wanted to do before I jump into a relationship, so that I could have some type of thing to live off of, or be able to provide for my kids, or my if I was to create a family type shit. You know, I ain't gonna have to sit here and worry about this bullshit and that bullshit.
That's some real ass shit. See, that was the part that I didn't understand until now. See, that's the spot where I'm at right now. See, now in high school and college and shit, like sure, I was a nerd, so of course I was focused on my work. You know what I mean? Like, of course, this is what I do. But like, you know what I'm saying? Once I got older, like in my like 20s, it was just like, damn, like I really ain't been in no relationship or whatever. Like I felt like I was missing out on something. You know what I mean? I felt like I was missing out on something. See, to me, the way that I grew up, like I grew up in a very family oriented family. You know what I'm saying? So the thing that I thought like the goal in life was to have a family, right? So like that's what I was seeking. I wasn't thinking from a perspective of like what the fuck do I want? Like what do I want as far as a career? What do I want as far as, you know what I'm saying? Like my living to look like, where do I want to live, how do I want to live, like, you know what I'm saying, those kind of things. I always saw life from the perspective of like, I'm gonna find my person and then everything else is just gonna make sense after that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you know what I'm saying? It's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck what my job is. I just need to make enough money to be able to provide for my family and get my girl the things that I want to get her, and you know what I'm saying? Little shit like that, and I'll be straight. You know what I'm saying? Because my goal is to get the family. I wasn't thinking about my fucking self. I wasn't thinking about myself. I wasn't thinking about what I wanted, nothing like that. I thought that the family, the relationship, I thought that's what was gonna make me happy. You know what I mean? Like I thought that's where my happiness was gonna come from. And it took me going through like failed fucking relationships and like you know what I'm saying, jobs that I don't like, you know what I'm saying, get into a part where I'm so depressed where it's just like what the fuck is my purpose? You know what I'm saying? It took all of those things for me to get to a point where I finally asked myself, what the fuck do you want? What do you want out of life? What do you want out of a relationship? What do you want out of your career? What do you want out of your personal life, your friendships? What the fuck do you want? Because you know, if you don't know nothing else, you know you're not getting it. And like, you know what I'm saying? Have you ever been pushed to that point where it's just like, what the fuck do you want? And and when you get to that point, it's just like, what do you do with it?
All right, so
Ooh, that was a gap right there.
it's that because I had to think about what you're talking about,
I was like,
because
that must have
like
been a real ass question. He's like, well, that
it's a
gap right
real
there.
question. Because in that situation, there's only like one person who can get under my skin,
Yeah.
and like that's my big mama. So outside of her, like everything else, I don't give no fuck about. You know, even with her, like it's the simple fact that I don't give no fuck about her, and I don't think she understands it. So she know how to get under my skin. She'll bring up stupid shit, and then I backfired on her ass. But at the end of the day,
I got a question, and it's not the
what?
point. If you don't give a fuck, how she get under your skin?
Because she used that child as a pawn.
Uh, okay. Now that okay. I forgot that part. That's some whole other shit. Yeah, yeah, okay.
She used that child as a pawn, and that's where it gets under my skin.
Absolutely. I mean, that shit. I mean, that those kind of situations are, that's a whole nother topic because it's just like that. I think that's just fucked up.
But even if you let the situation go, you understand what I'm saying? You wash your hands about the whole situation.
That's just not fair.
And then
That's just not
bullshit
fair
just
to no
pop up
capacity.
out the blue for no reason. Like, how the fuck you get in contact with me, bro? This shit ain't what? Unexpectedly, and it's like, bro, I don't know. But as like, I just kept that shit. Like after that, I made a whole fucking song. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like that shit, I just dropped all my emotions. Like it got to the point that I had to drop all my emotions about her into a song.
right.
After that, it's like I don't give no fuck about it now.